Time now for our AT&T 5G call to the field. We are so thrilled to bring in the man with the golden PK, defender and RSL homegrown, Justen Glad. Justen, so great to see you. First of all, congratulations. RSL heading to the Western Conference Finals. You're going to face off against Portland on Saturday. Has this all sunk in yet, especially after these wild matches against Seattle, Sporting Kansas City? You guys just continue to get it done. Has it sunk in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've had a couple of days to sleep on it, to kind of realize where we're at. And yeah, the team's excited. Everyone's excited. You know, there's an energy around the team right now. And we're just looking to go as far as we can.
Justen, all of the headlines have said Cinderella story RSLs. Do you guys feel like you're a Cinderella story, or is that offensive?
That's a good question. I think maybe a little bit, just because the expectations were so low. But again, the belief has been there from everyone in the locker room since day one. So yes and no, you know, like we kind of expected that we could do this. But it's one thing to think you can do it, and then it's a whole different thing to actually go out there and do it.
No, go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to say, so think about it, and before we wrap this interview, we'll find a new terminology than a Cinderella story. We're all Salt Lake.
How about I have one? I have one. Okay, well, Justen, I heard you say belief, okay? Because, this is the mantra around this team right now. Pablo has said it. Demir said it to me in the post-game interview, and it's giving us, major Ted Lasso vibes, but in, the best way possible, because we are very big Ted Lasso fans over here on the call up. So maybe we can turn this into a Ted Lasso, situation. We call this the Ted Lasso team. But do you feel like maybe RSL is MLS's version of AFC Richmond, and honestly, Pablo used to have that mustache, The
mustache.
It just kind of works.
It is similar. The mustache is similar. Yeah, I mean, again,
he's not sold on that either.
The word belief has been with us since the beginning of the season, and I'll tell you what, Pablo's speeches and Ted Lasso's speeches are both top notch.
When you look at round one at Seattle for a moment, after a perfect round of penalties, you step up for the sixth penalty. What goes through your mind in that moment?
Honestly, it was just pick a side and shoot. Once I saw his fingertips touch it, then my mind started racing a little bit. But yeah, I knew what came with it. I knew it was, you can either be the hero or zero. And that's just a risk you have to take. And I'm just thankful it went in,
It was incredible watching that. It was that sort of that moment of oh my God, is it going in? Did that moment feel like it was 10 minutes as you watched the ball, kind of trickle in past the goal line?
Absolutely. It felt like slow motion for a second there. I was just sitting there oh my goodness.
It's wild.
Then watching it trickle in, just,
I mean, what a moment though. And then I have to ask you, there was a story that it was actually supposed to be Justin Meram's PK, and you went up to him and said, "Bro, I got this." Can you kind of tell us the story of how that happened? And was Justen "Yeah, man, do your thing"?
Yeah. He was 6 on the list. But when we were standing there, I kind of looked over at him. I was like, "Yo, are you next?" And he's like, "Yeah." But he could kind of tell that I was ready to go, that I wanted it. So he ended up letting me step up and take it. So yeah. Thanks to him, he relinquished that, and thank God I made it.
This is amazing. How do you know that you're ready to take that penalty? When you're in that moment, and it's nope, this is I want it. Because in my head, I'm I'd be freaking out a little bit. Where does that confidence come from?
To be honest, I don't even know. I don't know. I just knew I wanted to take a pen. I was thinking about, my time at the club, what a moment it'd be to send us into the next round. And it was just a moment that I wanted to have, I wanted to, experience. So
Something I really want to ask you about is a season full of ups and downs. We had Brian Dunseth, former RSLer and RSL commentator, on earlier this season. And he talked about how difficult it must be within the RSL locker room to keep the faith with the ownership questions. And when your head coach, Freddie Juarez, leaves in the summer to go become an assistant elsewhere in Seattle, you get the decision day craziness. How did you guys galvanize as a group at that point over the summer when you had the coaching change and your head coach leaves to take an assistant job elsewhere? What was the galvanizing moment? Who brought you guys together? Because that's usually the coach's job.
Yeah, I think for sure Pablo had a lot to do with it. And then just we got a lot of leaders on the team, between Demir, Albert, Aaron, there's a lot of guys who were willing to step up. And at the end of the day, with all that other stuff going on, it's really about us in the locker room and just staying focused. And I think Pablo did an incredible job kind of making everyone realize that it's us. It's us against the world. Soccer, at the end of the day, soccer's soccer. And if you go out there and play well, win games, anything can happen.
How did Pablo do that?
Again, the Ted Lasso speeches are they're very motivating. I don't know if you've seen any of them on Twitter or whatnot.
Yes.
But he really makes you want to run through a wall for him. So
I mean, you can feel it. And, after that game, even like in the interview that I did with him, I mean, I wanted to run through a brick wall through it. Like, I was like, let's go. He just has that kind of energy. And it's infectious. We saw the video of the speech he gave after the Seattle win. And it's just, he's such a special guy. It feels like he was the right guy to come in at the time, as you say, to kind of like galvanize this group. Like, for you guys and for this team, has he earned his spot as the permanent head coach?
Listen, I'm not going to address that. That's not my job to decide. I think he's a great guy, great head coach. So I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. We don't want to put you on the spot.
Actually, we are going to put you on the spot again, talking about your goalkeeper, David Ochoa, the master chirper for the haters in MLS. What are your thoughts on the villain persona he has created for himself? Is that just Ochoa on the field, or is that like Ochoa when you guys like go out?
No, I think that's Ochoa on the field. I think it's incredible, to be honest. I think it excites fans. It brings eyes to the game. It gives a story. And yeah, it makes everything that much more exciting.
I mean, it was amazing to watch it in person in Kansas City. And it's just funny because like we had guys like Felipe on the pod, right? Who has this sort of like villain persona in the league. But then you meet him and you're like, oh God, he's like the nicest dude ever off the pitch. So it's interesting to kind of like see the two sides of these guys. Justen, let's talk a little bit about you. I read something really interesting that when you first signed as a homegrown with RSL, you were actually a midfielder, and then you were like, there's a whole bunch of midfielders and not a lot of defenders, and so I want to try to like up my odds of actually getting some playing time. So I'm just going to transition to playing defense. And obviously it has worked out for you, but can you kind of talk about what that was like? And like, did you anticipate like just being a defender for the rest of your career?
Yeah, so that was actually when I went to the academy.
Okay.
There were tryouts and they told us, all right, split into groups, and there were probably about 50 forwards, 50 midfielders, and like 15 defenders. And at this point, I was just thinking, you got to make this team. So I looked at the odds. I said, all right, I guess I'm a defender now, and I'll just fill it in and hopefully make the team. And maybe after I make the team, I could work my way back up to midfield. And then, it just sort of stuck. Best decision I ever made, tell you what.
Seems to have worked out.
Yeah.
I think like this whole Real Salt Lake season can be best described, maybe even for the fans, not you guys, because you had the belief the whole time, but by your sister's reaction that went MLS level viral on Twitter, where she looked like she was in an apartment, someone's taping her, and she was honestly, like, could not even believe it. Like, just screaming at the top of her lungs when you scored your penalty. I mean this in the funniest way ever. Were you slightly offended at all that she was so shocked?
I know.
It was adorable.
Relax. We knew it was going in. Just relax. No, but that was incredible to watch. I've probably seen that video 100+ times, and
it's historic now in your family.
Exactly. I love that video. And
where was she, and like, who was she with? How old is she when we were watching? Because like we see the back of her head, and she's just screaming her head off. So she could be anywhere from like a 16-year-old girl to like us.
Well, she's 27, so she's a little older than me. And she was at her house with my cousin. My cousin was recording, actually. Aww. And yeah, just pure gold.
That's amazing. I mean,
what a good sister.
Exactly. You want your family to be that excited for you. It's incredible. I love it.
And I'm sure they didn't expect me to take the PK. So I actually think she was gonna go to the bathroom, and then my cousin called her back. She's like, "Wait, he's taking a pen, so you got to come back out." Oh
God, that's amazing. Justen, we're going to ask you to do a little like rapid fire. We just want to get kind of like a sneak peek of what it's like inside this RSL locker room, because by all accounts, this is an incredibly tight-knit group. You guys just have an incredible chemistry together. So we want to just get kind of like a sense of what it's like in there. So first question, who controls the pregame playlist?
That's a split. We usually start with Pablo, some Spanish music, Pablo Ruiz.
Okay. I know, it's like gotcha.
And then about halfway through, Aaron takes over and throws on the hip hop rap.
Love it.
Who's the talker through the pregame huddle?
Demir.
I can totally see that. Totally see that.
Yeah, gets us fired up.
Who would you say is kind of like your big brother on the team, like the guy you kind of like coach, or are you the big brother now, the seasoned veteran that
you're not old enough?
Yeah. That's a great question. Big brother. If you had asked me that last year, I would have said Natum would be more like the big brother.
Yeah.
And then this year, I'm not really sure, to be honest.
I think it's you. I think you've transitioned into that role.
I hope so.
Suze has assigned you big brother. So
listen, he's young, but he's been around RSL for a very long time.
I hope so at this point.
It's a compliment.
Yes, thank you.
It is. Who's the little brother?
Little brother? Oh, he's going to be pissed when I say this, but I'll say Andrew Brody just so he's upset.
Oh, bless his heart. Okay, now we're not jinxing anything here, but just saying that RSL happens to go on and lift the Anschutz Trophy and win MLS Cup. Who's planning the after party, Justen?
Oh, I'm putting that on Albert Rusnak.
There we go.
Why? Why, Albert? Just curious.
Why? He always has a plan, He's the man with the plan. He's good at setting things up, and yeah, he knows how to have a good time. So,
the man with the plan. All right, Justen. Before we let you go, how are you guys going to get it done this weekend in Portland?
Yeah. Honestly, just staying disciplined. We've played Portland twice now, but both times we're with 3 in the back, and this time, I would assume, I don't know for sure, but I would assume we go in with the 4 that we've been playing. And yeah, just staying disciplined. We know they're great on the counter, but staying disciplined, staying compact, and playing good soccer. I think everyone's playing really well at this point, and it's about getting hot at the right time, as we've seen before. So yeah, just everyone, again, the belief, everyone working for each other, and hopefully we can get it done.
Suze, he's selling us hard on your I know not everyone wants it, but the more you're talking, the more I'm getting those Ted Lasso vibes.
I'm telling you, this is a good thing. Ted Lasso is like the best thing. Oh my God.
You guys are in season 3 right now. Like, we don't know what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're writing the script. You're writing the script.
Time now for another AT&T 5G call to the field. That's right, 2 for the price of 1 on today's call up. The goalkeeper that we cannot stop talking about, RSL goalkeeper David Ochoa. Hi, David.
Hi.
We appreciate you jumping on before training at Salt Lake. It has been go, go, go nonstop for this team. Can't even imagine you've been able to get a ton of training sessions in, probably just a lot of regen and chilling. We know that you guys have been in and out, in and out. How is the team feeling now as you prepare now for Portland?
No, yeah, the team is feeling confident. I think we've proved everyone wrong, and we're kind of feeding off that. That those doubts in us have built a fire in us to prove people wrong and give it our all on the field. So I definitely think the group is feeling confident, and I think we're looking good going into Portland on Saturday.
I mean, proving people wrong has been sort of the whole identity of this team in the MLS Cup playoffs. And we kept hearing, we just talked to your teammate Justen Glad. We keep hearing this word belief around this team, and you've kind of become this sort of like villain that we love to watch, just silencing all the haters. I got to see it firsthand in Kansas City, which was awesome. Justin was like, we love it. We love this guy, but he's a different persona off the field than he is on the field. Can you tell us about just sort of how you've like embraced this sort of like villain role, or is it a villain role? You tell us.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say it's the villain role. I'm enjoying it. Even though I don't really think I'm a villain. I'm just kind of reacting as the game goes. However I feel like. A couple people have asked me that, and I think it goes all the way back to the idols that I grew up watching, and those are Cristiano Ronaldo and Kobe Bryant, who are two smack talkers in the game. So I think I'm kind of getting it from them. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like winning most importantly, and with that, I feel like you have to do a little bit of smack talking. So I'm enjoying it.
I love it.
Besides being the greatest at each of their own crafts, what was it about Ronaldo and Bryant that made you say, like, I want to be like them? Aside from their greatness, I want to be that person on the team. Yeah,
no, they're just their character, their winning mentality, their leadership. I think those are the two things that kind of stood out to me. They're two people who you can count on when you need them, and that two people that are not going to give up. And I think those are the things that just kind of stood out to me, and it was just kind of natural. I felt like I can relate to them.
David, you had such a standout performance in that Seattle game, especially during the penalty shootout. And in the MLS Cup playoffs, like, there is always a chance that this could go to PKs in every single game. Sort of, can you kind of tell us about the preparation that you go for, knowing that it's entirely possible that the game could go to PKs, that you will be in that spot to kind of be like the hero or the zero, as Justen Glad said. What is your preparation like mentally, physically, like the day before? Are you working on this in training? Like, what does it all look like?
No, yeah, we've definitely, as a group, we've been working on penalty kicks, for 2 weeks now. After training, everyone takes a penalty kick. So I thought the guys were well prepared, and I've been pretty well prepared as well. My goalkeeper coach has done film on the teams that we're facing, and he goes through everyone who could potentially shoot a PK. So I'm well studied, you could say, in that. I know exactly where players tend to shoot more. But at the same time, individually, I love that. I love the pressure. I want to become the hero during penalty kicks. I feel like I'm a pretty good PK shot stopper. So I'm confident in myself in penalty kicks, even though versus Seattle I only saved one. But
it's all you needed. It's all you needed.
All I needed. So it's all the team needed. So, but yeah, I definitely, not that I look forward to going to PKs, but I don't mind them, and I'm confident in my abilities, and I'm confident I can help the team win.
So maybe instead of us all saying in every headline on every planet saying, David Ochoa, the villain, this and that, it should just be David Ochoa, the hero, because that's kind of more the vibes that I'm getting. Let's talk about this summer, David. You announced your decision to play for the Mexican national team, and you wrote a great piece for the Players Tribune about that decision. Can you take us behind the emotion a little bit? As a dual national, we keep learning about more and more people that speak about this. I look at the Roldan brothers. You have Mexican parents, but born in California. Can you just take us behind that a little bit?
No, yeah, it's definitely a unique thing, and especially with the rivalry that the U.S. and Mexico has. It was kind of weird, you can say, kind of being in between for me. Me representing the U.S. for the youth teams, it just felt weird. Being Mexican, especially when we faced Mexico, it was weird. I had love for both countries, and it was just kind of the team that I was representing. But no, I mean, like I said, I have love for both countries. This country has given everything to my family. It's obviously why they came here. But blood is thicker, and that's kind of how I went with my decision. I kind of tried to follow the heart a little bit, and as a little kid, I always grew up watching Mexico. So I just kind of went with the heart, and I just felt like Mexico was the right decision. But no, definitely I have love for both countries. And just a little detail is I sing, to kind of honor that, I sing both national anthems. So
I love that.
That's beautiful. I know. That's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And listen, you can never go wrong following your heart. It's always gonna lead you in the right direction. It was interesting though. Reading that article. Was that kind of like cathartic for you to just kind of like be like, look, this is everything behind the decision, because, it was really personal, and you talked a lot about your family and the influence. I mean, how did it feel to kind of like put it out there? Because inevitably there were going to be, questions or people disappointed that you didn't choose to play for the United States. How did it feel to just really be able to have this platform to say, this is why, this is sort of my side of the story?
No, yeah, it was a great story, and I thank the Players Tribune. They did an excellent job. I couldn't have asked for anything better. But I personally just felt like I needed to, put something out there, especially for everything that the U.S. national teams have done for me. All the coaches that are part of the system, they helped me grow a lot, and I just felt like I kind of needed an explanation instead of me kind of sending individual texts to a bunch of more than 100 coaches. I just want to let them know that I was grateful, and that it was a super tough decision, just so they didn't get any bad vibes on the decision.
Hey, but it's a decision one should be honored to have, that you have
Absolutely.
to pick for two amazing soccer federations. Was there one text message or one phone call that you got, David, that kind of stood out to you, after that announcement, that was like made you feel good from either side?
No, yeah. All the U.S. coaches, and I say all of them, there's more than like 15 texts. They all texted me, and they weren't mad about it. They kind of, they were showing support for it. So I got especially one from Greg Berhalter right after, saying, you're going to be great with whatever national team you choose. And, that kind of just stood out to me. It's honestly what I wanted. And yeah, it just shows the type of, how would you say, the type of relationship that I had with the coach.
Yeah.
So
no.
It was good. And I left with good intentions.
It's going to be fun to watch some of those matchups too.
Oh, yeah, when I'm saying this, I'm definitely gonna do my smack talking to the US.
We expect nothing less, David. Come on,
we would be disappointed without it.
Give the people what they want.
I love to win. So
give the people what they want.
I'll give it my all when I represent Mexico, and with that, they might get mad at me this time. So, but it's all good.
It's all good. It's all in good spirit. Okay, so we know you love to win. This team just keeps on winning. How do you get it done in Portland?
No, I think, just doing the same thing that we've done these last 2 games. I think the confidence that we have should be higher than Portland's. Saying, the teams that we've beat, I think everyone's, feeling good in themselves as a team and individually, and I think we just got to keep doing the same thing we're doing, and we'll come out on top in Portland.
David Ochoa, the RSL hero, we'll say. Thank you very much for joining us. And,
hero, not villain.
Hero, not villain. It's a new hashtag. All right, thank you so much, and we'll let you get to training. Thanks for hopping on so early.
Yeah,
out in Salt Lake. We appreciate it.